May the Lord be with you.
And also with you.
It's time to hear one of God's stories. Such amazing things happened in this place that we need a small piece of it here in this room. Jesus and his disciples were teaching in the villages and in the countrysides. And Jesus had been saying amazing things and doing many wonderful things, but people still did not know who he really was. So one day Jesus asked his disciples, "Who do the people say that I am?" And they answered, "Some people say that you are John the Baptist, or Elijah, or one of the prophets." "Well, who do you say that I am?" "You are the Christ," Peter answered. "You are blessed, Peter, for God has shown you who I am." And then Jesus said, "I must go to Jerusalem for the Passover. I'll be killed, but on the third day, God will make me alive again." The disciples could not believe this. And Jesus taught them for 6 more days. And then he led Peter, James, and John to the high mountain. As Jesus was talking with God on the mountain, he was transfigured. His face began to shine as bright as the sun, and his clothes became dazzling white. And Elijah and Moses appeared beside Jesus, and suddenly a cloud covered them. The disciples were terrified. But then a voice came and said, "This is my child whom I love. Listen to him." Looking around, the disciples saw only Jesus. "Do not be afraid," Jesus said. "Come and follow me." I wonder how Peter, James, and John are feeling. And I wonder what it's like to see Jesus transfigure. I wonder how the disciples feel when Peter says Jesus is the Christ. And I wonder what the other disciples might have answered. I wonder how they could have known that Jesus was the Christ. I wonder how Jesus is feeling. I wonder how it is to know that Jesus is the Christ. It's time to light the Christ candle and hear the story we heard today at the Transfiguration of Jesus in the Bible. We're reading from the book of Matthew. 6 days later, Jesus took Peter, James, and John, his brother, and brought them to the top of a very high mountain. He was transformed in front of them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became as white as light. Moses and Elijah appeared to them, talking with Jesus. Peter reacted to all of this by saying to Jesus, "Lord, it's good that we're here. If you want, I'll make 3 shrines, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." While he was still speaking, look, a bright cloud overshadowed them. A voice from the cloud said, "This is my son whom I dearly love. I'm pleased with him. Listen to him." Hearing this, the disciples fell on their faces, filled with awe. But Jesus came and touched them. "Get up," he said. "Don't be afraid." And when they looked up, they saw no one except Jesus. As they were coming down the mountain, Jesus commanded them, "Don't tell anyone about the vision until the human one is raised from the dead." The story we heard today gives us the same hope and light as this Christ candle. As we change the light, we know that the Christ candle and the love of the Lord is with us always, not just in this place in space, but with you always. Amen.